Hey everybody, welcome to Civil Engineering Today, brought to you by the Boston Society of Civil Engineers.
I'm Cristina Fragoso.
And I'm Brockman. And we've been feeling that the world's been feeling a little bit depressing lately, and it shouldn't be on a day like International Women's Day.
That's right. I'm wearing my red since I do have to work anyway.
It's not real work. This is like make-believe work. Yeah. But you were at real work.
This is free work. This is volunteer work, and I love to do it. And today's show, we're talking about outreach. Which we both do some of. Reed does a lot of, and it really does need love since it's all volunteer, it's unpaid. We have a lot of things coming up, so we're gonna kind of go through some of them and talk about last year's events and what's coming up.
Yep, so, but before we start digging into the events.
Oh, here we go.
Why? There's always gotta be one of these things, isn't it? So we're gonna talk a little bit about, this is Civil Engineering Today, and the root of Civil Engineering Today is all talking about, infrastructure and the world around us.
Yes,
and,
as Stephen Colbert said, and that's not very sexy.
Yeah.
But it's important.
It's Colbert and John Oliver. And,
oh, yes, John Oliver, you're right, yes.
Everybody's hit on the topic, and still somehow feel that people kind of get what infrastructure is, but they kind of assume that things just sort of happen?
Yeah, we've talked about it on the show a few times, how people take it for granted a lot. And I think it's difficult, unless you're able to travel maybe to other areas of the world where you see, you see how beneficial the way you live is.
Right.
I mean, it's not easy in a lot of places to get your goods to the market. You have to take trains and buses or animals. Then you have natural disasters that constantly get in the way. They don't have a lot of regulations or infrastructure built for the people. It's hard to spend money on infrastructure, and I think that's something, especially here in Massachusetts, I think we are willing to spend money on it because we do recognize how important it is to our daily lives.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. We do a pretty good job around here locally on.
We could do better, but.
Right, but there's an awful lot of people that
Of course, you and I would say that.
People complain about, MBTA, and they complain about projects out there, but in reality, you put it into a general perspective, things are all right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you had money and I could have everything my way, I would have the best future city, But even then, future city, people think flying cars, that's going to be easy, but I'm like, do you know how much air traffic control it would take? First of all, people would have to fly to satellite areas. Otherwise, think about it. The jams at those satellite areas just to land, and then you're still going to have to drive. You can't just fly willy-nilly anywhere. You have to have controlled landing areas because then there's crashes all the time. And would you like to really walk under one of those crashes?
Oh, a crashing flying car?
Yeah, that's what you even still have to have bridges.
Who knows where it's going to land? You still have to have bridges,
even if the cars are not technically on that bridges. You can only fly over a landing area where if there was a crash, something would catch it rather than having it go directly into the
This is our
resource.
happy show.
Oh yes, this is our happy show. We're a show about fun. But I'm saying there's a lot to think about. If I could have anything, I would have way more than what we currently have. But a lot of it's imaginary, and it comes with problems. As wonderful as I think it is, when I really sit down and start to think about it, I see how deeply you would have to really think all the aspects.
But in a dream job, which is what kids should be thinking about.
Oh yes, absolutely.
In a dream job, I think really people want to do jobs that help people and do good in the world and make the world a better place. And, we're not the only career that does that, but our world does that. And if we could do our dream job, we'd be doing those super creative problems, we'd be super problem solving all the world's problems.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And,
absolutely. Actually, that's funny because even I was speaking to one of the ladies in our civil department about doing fun stuff for work, which is hard. It's always hard to get paid and have fun, There was always work involved. And we talked about how our jobs are either really exciting and dangerous or really, really boring or just humdrum every day, get it done. So we run the gamut of emotions, and I was talking to her, and she loves what she's doing right now because she's modeling an area of Cambridge and Alston of what can be, what might be possible there for roads. And that's all she gets to do. She gets to play around and see what's going to work the best. And that's so fun.
That's a great job.
I know. I'm like, oh, Rosetta, that's a great job. She loves it. She loves it.
It's funny, we have a co-op that's going to be coming in, or an intern, a high school intern. So the city of Boston, from this Boston Green Academy, we're planning it out. They're coming in April and staying till May, going department to department. And we're trying to figure out something fun that's good and educational to do, because they can't really do billable work and responsible work in the engineering.
We give them the terrible work.
No, that's a college intern. You wouldn't do that to a high school student.
No.
No, the college, right? The college, they're out in the field with us, crawling around in the dirt.
Yeah, no, it's never anything fun.
But we're really treating the high school one like a job shadow, and I'm like looking at the things that we're lining up, and I'm like, man, we never get to do the fun stuff. All the high school kids getting all the good things.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's their time of life, and I think. I mean, I don't know how you fell into this line of work. Did you have someone in your family who was your father was a dentist, correct?
Yeah.
My father was a statistician, so who knows? I mean,
and your mother runs hotels. So.
Yes. I mean, you never know where you're going to end up. And I actually didn't want to go into. I love geology, and I happen to love art, and I kind of fell into it because I love math too. So.
Yeah, it was weird. I vaguely knew what engineering was when I was in high school, but I knew my brother was one.
Oh.
So, and he seemed happy.
Oh, there we go.
Like, no, maybe I knew, I'm simplifying it too much, but it was sort of spelled out that way. Like, I'm good at math and science, I should be an engineer. What's an engineer? It's
it's
people who
you
like
want.
good math and science.
Yeah.
That's not a really good definition, dude.
No, it is difficult to pin down. I can say, and I've said this at different events, outreach events to students, you're always employable as an engineer, because you have a lot of skills that can easily translate into other fields.
Right. It's general problem solving skills.
It's really hard to get a good problem solver.
You don't necessarily know the solution, but you know where to look.
Yes, I agree. And that's part of solving anything. You have to work within the parameters that are the physics of the world. So,
right.
And then you have humanity on top of it, which is even always a more difficult problem to maybe not solve, but please.
Yeah, we can't solve that.
You can't please all the people all the time, right?
I've heard that.
Yeah, some of the people some of the time, all of the people some of the time, or something like that. And all of the people all the time, not possible. No.
Yeah, we'll fall into that whole George Bush thing where we say it wrong and then we're like.
I'll admit I don't really know the expression. I'm sorry. But let's talk about our upcoming. You have something going on this Sunday?
Yeah, so there's something going on almost every day. It's incredible the amount of interest in STEM education lately and all the things that are going on. But even tomorrow we have a career fair in Malden, and
oh, I didn't know
Friday,
about this one. See, I'm learning something too. Actually, this one I didn't know about.
There's a career fair in some town like every day.
I can believe that. Is that at a college or is it at a high school?
No, at a high school.
At a high school.
Yeah, high school level career fairs. And then there's all on the weekends. There's something. So yeah, this Sunday it's the Girl Scouts will all be getting together, and for some reason we're not doing one of the big sessions, but we're there. We're bringing the model bridges, and they're going to play around the model bridges. So
that's always fun.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. And we just took it to the Boston Science Festivals thing a couple days ago. That was awesome. That
was awesome, actually. Actually, it was awesome to kind of walk around and glimpse at some of the projects also. I mean, there was a handful that were just getting a good grade, and then there were some that were amazing, like talking about fun and what would be interesting. There were some really interesting things. They had a couple on bridges, actually, and they had another one on building materials for roofs.
Really?
Yes, you really have to walk around. It's really amazing. And they did, there was another person that did loads, different types of loads, and the best structures against loads. And I was just pleased to see that. And those actually, I think 2 of those were middle schools. They weren't even high schools.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I was busy. The kids were building the arch bridge, knocking it down.
Yeah.
Building the arch bridge, knocking it down.
I saw you. I saw you over there. Over and over and over. And I'm like, oh boy.
Over. I know that arch bridge really, really well.
Yeah, the arch bridge. But it seemed to me like they really enjoyed being able to get on top of it. I don't think a lot of kids it's hard to grasp the concept of an arch bridge, but when they can actually build it and then see that physically
Yeah,
how
that
much.
it picks up that much strength with
Yes.
us we were barely leaning on the thing.
Yeah, I think you really need that for kids. You really, you know, they need to see it. They
Right.
just don't get it until they see
Right,
it.
and nothing seems strong until you actually put your weight on top of it.
Nope, that's for sure. And in fact, that's the one thing I would like to see us. Not that we already do so much at Boston Society of Civil Engineers, but I'd like to see some programs for college STEM, more competitions. I know for me that was key for me staying in engineering because we had more than 50% of students drop out of our engineering program before they graduated because of the difficulty, which it really wasn't that difficult. It was just time consuming. But the competitions were key to keeping me in it. And we really only had like 3 college competitions. We need to see more.
One. There was
The
no
bridge,
yet.
steel bridge?
No,
No?
that didn't exist yet. Only concrete canoe.
I loved concrete
So we all
canoe.
did concrete canoe, and every, all 4 years of this, or 3 years, because freshmen aren't really, civil engineers really yet.
Actually,
But-
where is concrete canoe this year? Is it in Connecticut?
Connecticut, yeah, at UConn.
We should actually try and get someone on the show for it because it's really fun. You build a concrete canoe with all your friends using concrete and of
And there's
course
still
other
people in
things
the world
in the
going,
mix.
they can't float.
Yeah, it's amazing. They do float. They float amazing, and they're very lightweight. I think ours was 80 pounds, 82 pounds, something like that. But we should have something on.
Yeah, we
for
should
that,
definitely.
and
That's
we should have
easy.
some clips of the race.
We can get it. We can go to any one of those schools.
That would be
Northeastern,
fun.
Worth or Merrimack or
And
anybody.
then Steel Bridge, and then we had an anti-gravity competition that was still like when lower level engineering competitions when you were dealing with just keeping things up in the air, however you could keep it up in the air with no chemical or motors. So
How'd you do it?
we used blades, fan blades. There was no motors, but you can use elastic bands to wind them
Yeah.
up and maintain.
Okay, so it's
and then
a-
you have to be able to steer it because you have to keep your machine within a certain parameter. There's. I
Yep.
think ours was either a circle or square, something like that. Like it was a 10-foot by 10-foot sign of square, and you had to stay within that. But yeah, I think more competitions like that. I think even to do them on high school level, because that's challenging. And then you fight. You have to do it in teams, and you have to learn how to work with other people, and that's key in life.
That really
That's
was.
so key in life.
I just remembered it because it was a blast, and I don't think we had any.
Well, it was a blast,
problems while we
especially
were
the
making
night
those-
we went to the hotel room before the race, and everybody partied. Not all engineering students are dull.
It's true. So another cool thing that's been happening is we had a meeting of not just the Boston Society of Civil Engineers, but we had a meeting where it was all the TESIT membership groups. So it was MALC, which is predominantly the surveyors,
surveyors.
and the ACEC, which is more the companies.
I'm in a lot of ACEC too. I like ACEC,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we got together and we were talking about how we can band together on that. And then the question was coming up about what about expanding even further? So I was telling everybody there all about the bigger STEM network and how locally that the city of Boston's STEM network has partnered up with the Metro North STEM network to make a super network in the area.
Really, I didn't know this.
Yeah, and everybody's sharing all their ideas and sharing their activities and
It does seem to be a lot more popular. Like when we first started talking about it 10 years ago, I don't think that many people were talking about it. Now it seems like I hear STEM constantly, and STEAM.
yeah,
Yeah,
got to throw that A in. So the A is art. They belong in the mess too.
it's important. And yeah, I've been hearing, like it seems like an everyday occurrence almost. I hear STEM in one form or another. But maybe that's just because of our industry, you hear it more often.
Yeah, I
don't know,
mean, I'm feeling, at first I was like almost afraid of how much attention it was getting because I felt it was becoming like the flavor of the month and people would jump off of it,
Oh.
But they didn't, and that's
No.
good. And all of our stuff that we
Jobs
created,
of the
it used to be that we couldn't get our things into school, and now we're almost in a fear of how do we sustain it if it keeps on growing and growing.
That's right, we had
So the model
62,
bridge, 62 model
entries.
bridges.
That's
this
a lot.
year.
I mean, compared to the average we used to get is 25 to 30.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. I think that was Olivia. She did a great job.
Yeah, and
She's
we
been
got to
doing
give
a
it to
good job.
everybody, to Ben and to
Yeah,
Alex.
that's right. Alex did a lot of work, and Ben.
Yeah.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
But it was incredible how it's caught on. But I think a lot of credit has to go to the teachers. The teachers hear about these programs, and the teachers tell the kids about them, and they stay after school, and very few of them are getting a special stipend for that staying after
That's
school.
actually very important because I've been having this discussion a lot since the issue of public education and vouchers and blah, 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 and a lot of people are talking about homeschooling, and we don't have as many homeschooling kids as we used to once upon a time in the company. But when we had the homeschooling kids, there was always anger from the other students because they carried a full curriculum, and you really got the feeling the home students, they kind of carried the competition as part of their curriculum, which was unfair. So
They
that was
totally
always
can.
interesting. And we could
That's-
never prove it. I don't know. So
No,
it's
there's
all
not,
speculation.
there's not a rule against it.
Oh, there's not.
No, not in Future City. In Future City, you can completely gear your entire curriculum to
Really?
being about Future City.
Wow.
And it almost makes sense. You can have, you know, your science can be the technologies involved.
That's true.
History can
That's
be the
true.
history of civilizations and how they ran. And
That's
you
a
know,
good point.
social studies is the study of,
You should have
the
answered the
social
question. You should have
systems.
been there to answer the
I
question.
should have been there.
This is so much better than the way I said, well, that was my answer. Well, we
There
do
was-
what we can.
I don't know if you were standing by me. There was a person there, so there was a meeting. We had the competition at MassDOT, and there was a meeting there, and it seemed to be some kind of a financial meeting.
Oh,
And it was
by
someone.
mascot?
I have no idea. It was just the person that. So he stood around for a while and he was watching the competition.
Oh.
And he came up to me and Olivia anyway, and he was there like, I love what I'm seeing here. He says, the financial world has a similar story that we're really trying to, get people to understand the importance of financing projects and infrastructure and financing, as we well know, if we look at the news on any given day with trillion-dollar things floating out there, the financing of not just infrastructure projects, but health, everything.
And
And financing is at the root, and people also, just like they don't understand infrastructure, don't necessarily fully understand finance.
financing it. And this is so interesting that you're saying this because we brought this up last time with our guest, Mr. DePaula, and he did a fantastic job of explaining private partnerships,
And
public-private
roped you into
partnerships.
watching the entire series of The Expanse.
Yes, he did. He totally got me into watching The Expanse. But we have a dinner coming up with Joe Aiello on April 10th, and he is going to be also talking about the financing, public partnerships, public-private partnerships. So this will be interesting. I'm seeing it more, and I'm thinking it's inescapable. It's in our future read. We're going to have to learn to work fast.
Work really fast. So we didn't really sell all the things that are coming up. We still got,
Oh,
if you
yes.
go to www.engineeryourfuture.org, right now the online bridge contest is up and running till the end of April. Please do it. We're having a banquet on May 11th, and if you do well in that, you can, no matter what, you can come to the banquet, but you can be our guests of honor at the banquet if you do really well.
The poster
And
competition.
then the poster competition is up. So May 13th is Infrastructure Day. And we've got, I think it's starting at 10 in the morning in the Seaport District, right along the Fort Point Channel. And if you go to celebrateinfrastructure.org, we're starting to post things up there, even though our big meeting tomorrow is where we really set the schedule. So
There's
there's not
cash
times
prizes
yet.
for that poster?
Oh, we have not announced the prize, which
Oh,
is
we
the
have
best
not.
kind of prize at all.
Okay,
What
all
kind of
right.
prize is better than a surprise prize? That might be bad.
Cash.
Cash,
Cash
maybe.
prize. When you're 10. No, actually, these
No,
are high
school,
schoolers,
high
so
school.
this is even more
It
important.
looks really good on a resume.
Yeah, it does. It does look good on a resume. But if you forget engineeryourfuture.org, you can go to bsces.org, and we'll definitely have a link to
That's actually the home.
engineeryourfuture.org.
BSES.org is actually the home of most of this material. It's just really
Because there's other
tougher to
things,
remember.
too, that we haven't mentioned that are really good that are coming up. So, and actually, have you heard anything about Summer Transportation Institute? Are they going to do that this year?
I better do my homework and find out. I don't know.
That's a
Well, last
fantastic
year,
program. I'd
it
like
was-
to give out a
It was
shout
still
out for
one,
that.
yeah, it's at UMass. I'll bet you it's happening again. I went out to UMass Amherst last summer. That's the one place where I know it's still or was going last year.
Okay.
And I hope it's still going.
That's a
I'll do my
fantastic.
homework.
I would have done that.
Yeah,
If
that's
that
a
were
really
available
good
to me
thing.
when I was in high school,
I know people that
would have done
started
that.
in high school in that program, and I'm working with them today.
Really?
Rich Madsen.
Oh.
Started,
wow,
he didn't
that's
even know what
interesting.
civil engineering was, and then he became one.
Wow.
So that one's got some success story. All right, I know that we've run out of time. And
Oh,
we're
we
just
have
talking.
run out of
Yeah.
time. Okay, well, I'm sorry we babbled.
We are good that way. I hope
We are good
everybody
that way.
enjoyed the show. We had a good time just randomly babbling today. And thank you everybody for watching this edition of the Boston Society of Civil Engineers, Civil Engineering Today. And we'll see you again next month.
Bye.
Bye-bye.